Welcome to Ask the Expert, a daily series from 8:30 to 9 a.m. to help small businesses. Ask any questions in the comments below or use the hashtag QBATE on Twitter. If you need any advice, please do join the official Intuit QuickBooks SMB community group on Facebook, where accountants and business experts are on hand 24/7. Now, during today's live session, we will be running a poll, so please do engage with it and I'll reveal the results at the end of the show. So today I'm really excited to be here. It's my 10th show. For those that have followed or seen some of my other shows, thank you so much for coming back. For those joining me for the first time, welcome. A bit of background about me. So my name is Eriona. I am the Managing Director of Majors Accounts. We're a small family-run practice based in Southeast London. In terms of my educational background, so I am a qualified chartered certified accountant with the ACCA. I have a few masters, one in accounting and finance, one in international banking and finance law, and I've recently completed a postgraduate diploma at the University of Oxford in strategic finance. I think it's safe to say now my studies are done. Enough of that. I'm also a member of the QuickBooks Accountants Council and a member of ACCA's UK Practitioner Network panel, as well as their SME Global Forum member. So I've been working in practice now for the last 13 years or so alongside my studies, which has been great in ensuring that I can back up the theory with the experience from small practice, where you really get to see it all. Whether that's how business works, how they function, their pain points, investigating ways of providing solutions, whether that's them trying to grow or become more profitable. So who are Majors Accounts? So as I mentioned, we are based in Southeast London, small accountancy practice, family run. We service clients in the SME space, so that's owner managed businesses, whether they're self-employed or limited companies. We have a wide range of industries that we service, some of which being the construction industry, hospitality, financial services, IT, hairdressers, barbers, nurseries, pubs, bars, the list goes on. Since becoming a managing director of Majors Accounts, I've spearheaded a digitalisation strategy within our firm. The idea of becoming a digital firm, paperless office. Proud to say that we are nearly there now. We are also a QuickBooks online only practice, so we hope to become somewhat experts in this area now with the years of experience that we've had with implementing QuickBooks. So everything that we do now can be done online, and that's using an array of different technologies that all feed into QuickBooks, different apps. And we hope to provide an elevated experience, not just for our clients, but for our staff as well. And our team are using the cutting edge technology, being ahead of the game for us as a firm, but again also for our clients. Now clients don't need to come in and see us, which has been great, I think, during this period. We've got obviously communicating digitally by email, phone, or Zoom or video conferencing. So there's a convenience and time saving there, and it allows for our national and soon to be global reach. We have clients from Ireland all the way down to the Isle of Wight. And the idea with this kind of implementation and strategy was to bring the client accountant relationship closer. So as we are a family run practice, we do like to treat our team and our clients like family. Because this is one of our core values, and we believe that it helps to rebuild an excellent rapport and to give a more personalised service. And with the expertise built up over the years, we hope that we're providing a great experience and service for our clients. And with the idea of technology bringing us closer, we will be the virtual finance director for our clients, because we know that business owners, they wear all hats of the business and they don't necessarily have the resources to be able to employ a virtual finance director. So we step in as that, but without the price tag that comes with it. So our efforts haven't gone unnoticed. Majors Accounts have been nominated for Independent Firm of the Year, Greater London, by the British Accountancy Awards for the last 2 years in a row. I myself have been nominated for 3 awards by the Women in Accounting and Finance Awards 2020, which will take place next month, virtually, unfortunately, but fingers crossed. And I think during this time, obviously, COVID is at the forefront of everyone's minds. Businesses are really struggling, and we're seeing changes on a daily basis. And it's something that's brought great distress worldwide, with not only health, but businesses being affected massively in terms of they may have had to close, or they're not generating income, or no one really knows what's happening or how long it will last. And not many businesses have been able to plan effectively for this. I mean, can you plan for a global pandemic? Not something that usually you would put in your plan. But some of the reasons why so many have not been ready for this is that they haven't had adequate cash reserves to be able to keep going. And many businesses don't know whether they're going to have a business to go back to after all this calms down. And the UK economy, like all economies over the world, has been hit massively. We've seen, 20% reduction, which is, absolutely terrible. And in this time, businesses have really had to try and think of ways of pivoting and using this as an opportunity in order to survive. Some have done this really well and seen opportunities to possibly grow, or have different kind of service lines introduced, or maybe change their business completely. Some, they're not really sure how to do this. Now, there have been a number of government grants, as we all know, to try and help out businesses to keep going, at least from the government. Some of them being obviously the furlough scheme, which is quite a popular one at the moment, which has allowed businesses to still keep their staff, but obviously if they're closed, someone has to pay them, so the government has stepped in and offered to pay. Now, from this month, obviously, the support scheme was reduced from 80% to 70% of the usual wages. There is now a cap of £2,187 per month, maximum for the hours of furloughed work that employees, when they're not working. Employers will also have to continue to cover employers' NIC and pensions costs for the hours the employee does not work. And from next month, from October 2020, the government support for the scheme will be reduced further to 60%, with state support for these furloughed workers reduced to £1,875, with, again, the same rules for NIC and pensions costs. Now, today, we know that there is going to be an announcement by the Chancellor, which will look at ways of protecting jobs. It's thought to be something similar to what's going on in France and Spain with the salary top-up scheme, but we don't know exactly how that's going to work yet, but please do keep an eye out for that today. Also, for when the furlough scheme ends, end of October, the government is giving a job retention bonus of £1,000 for those employees that have been brought back to work. So those who were furloughed, brought back to work. And as long as they are working for at least 3 months, in January, the government will give £1,000 per employee that has been brought back to work. And another scheme, again, trying to help out with jobs and the employment market, is the Kickstart scheme. So it gives the employers the opportunity to create jobs with costs covered by the government. So there's £1,500 provided, or £2,000 for apprenticeships which are created for under 25s. However, when the scheme was first released, it seemed great, but when we got the details of it, it was for minimum 30 workplaces. Now, we know not many people have the opportunity to provide 30 employment all in one go. So one way around this is if you partner with other organizations and you manage to get 30 or more altogether, you can apply altogether, so you have the opportunity to use this scheme. It's a great scheme, to be honest, if you can get onto it. You just need to see if you've got any fellow businesses that you can partner with to take advantage. Now, I've mentioned to many people, obviously this is a horrible time. However, you have to think of, you know, in business, there are always going to be things that are coming at you that make you think, you know, they're all hitting me at once and I can't do this. But you've got to see the opportunity in everything. One of those is the Green Homes Grant Scheme. Not many people know about this, but the government has put aside £2 billion worth of grants, which are going to be in the form of vouchers, which will allow individuals who are homeowners or landlords to renovate their properties by introducing energy efficient, for example, insulation or windows, or upgrading their homes. Basically, they can get up to £5,000 or up to £10,000 from the government to do these changes. And this is a great opportunity for the construction sector, for example. You know, you could literally, worst situation, go door to door and let homeowners know about this. They don't, hardly any of them know that this is available to them, or they think that there's some sort of catch. There isn't. This is your opportunity to go educate them, let them know that you will do the work for them, but the government will pay for it. I mean, who doesn't want to upgrade their home or renovate their home for free? And so this is definitely something that, you know, once you've got a few clients, after this is all finished, those clients will know you, and you will be able to, you know, they'll be able to contact you for anything else if they're happy with your job. So it's a way of really getting your reach out there and expanding your client base. Now the applications open now, so they've said at the end of September, and the jobs must be completed by the 31st of March. So in order to take advantage of this scheme, construction companies or individuals that can do the works need to apply and get their name on an approved list, and that is where homeowners can kind of go on and choose who they want to do their works. Now, obviously, get yourself on these lists, but also go out there, go to the potential clients, let them know about this, because there are many that don't know about it. Now, obviously, this week we know about the further restrictions with the hospitality sector, like pubs, bars, restaurants, which have to close their doors now at 10 p.m. And that's not last orders, but it's actually closed at 10 p.m. And again, many have been upset by this, but you've got to look at the opportunities. Yes, you have to close at 10. The opportunities here are you need less staff to work later, so you're able to send some staff home, so you reduce your costs, but there is nothing stopping you from continuing by takeaway or delivery. So you could manage with 1 or 2 staff, say a chef and one other person to help take orders, for example, and you can continue, but with less cost. So there is another element of it. There's always a positive to anything. And also those that can work from home are encouraged to do so, is what Boris has mentioned. So obviously office workers are encouraged to work where they can, if they can, from home. And this really highlighted, during this time where we came out of lockdown, did you make changes in your business, change processes to be able to pivot in case there was going to be another lockdown? Now, this lockdown isn't as bad as the first one, but that time when we were allowed out, shall I say, did you make sure that you had the processes in place to be able to change whenever you need to, whether it's lockdown or whether it's eased, and make your business super adaptable and versatile? Another grant that I think that many need to be aware of is the grants for local lockdowns. So they're £1,000 to £1,500 for every 3 weeks. So they're for people who, you know, are in a local lockdown and they're forced to close. So the government, every 3 weeks, it will trigger an extra £1,000 or £1,500, and you have to contact your local authority for this. Now, I see there are questions coming in, so I will start taking these now. We have a question from Theodora from Twitter, who says, "Hi Eriona, there've been so many different grants and schemes, so getting a bit confused. Is the new lockdown grant a one-off payment?" So the lockdown grants, I'm guessing you're referring to the local lockdown. They will trigger every 3 weeks. It won't be just one. So if you're made to kind of lock down for 6 weeks, let's say, for example, you'd get 2 of those grants. But obviously that depends on the area. It's not available to everybody, but your local council should have that updated on their website, and you'll have to apply through them. We have a question from Elliot from Instagram, who says, with the current situation, do you know if new furlough scheme will be introduced? Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, we are waiting for an announcement today. I doubt that it's going to be exactly the same as what the furlough scheme has been up until now. It might be slightly different. Hopefully there won't be as much bureaucracy and paperwork and things involved, because obviously we know with findings that that HMRC have found is that many have claimed furlough fraudulently, so I don't think they will be as generous, but you never know. The Chancellor's main objective at the moment is to try and protect employment, because it's at an all-time high. Unemployment is at an all-time high, and businesses now, with the furlough scheme ending, they're kind of looking to make staff redundant because they know that they can't bring them back. So hopefully the new furloughs, or the new extension, shall we say, if it is that, will provide some support in that area. We have a question from Mikale from Twitter, who says, good morning, with the new rules of closing early, can restaurants still do takeaway after 10 p.m? Yes. So as I mentioned earlier, although you have to close your doors at 10, there's nothing stopping you from, having takeaway available. And if everyone is going home, or some people, they may say, well, it's only 10 o'clock, is there any point going out, so I'm just going to order takeaway. You should have that available anyway. And I know many businesses or restaurants in that sector maybe didn't have takeaway as an option because they never needed to. Now you must make sure to give yourself the best fighting chance when you come out of this, have takeaway available and provide it, because people will be asking for it a lot. We've seen that with our clients, actually. Their income in a month increased by 30%, and way more than they would have had previously. So now they know they're going to keep that new service line available for their clients. We have a question from Ivana from Facebook Messenger. Hi, great to see you on ATE again. Thank you so much for joining me. I have a company with 6 employees and have been struggling to keep us connected and motivated this year. We somehow pull through. As a managing director, how have you kept your team united and supported them? Any advice is much appreciated. Yeah, I know it's really difficult, especially when everyone is remote, to try and keep everyone motivated. When lockdown first happened, it was the first time that we as a team were working remotely. Now, with the digitalisation strategy, I had been working for the last couple of years to put this in place, but I kind of delayed working from home because I was worried about whether staff would be able to, adapt to working from home, whether they'd feel comfortable, whether they'd feel alone, overwhelmed. There's so many kind of worries, but I found, they all took to it really well. But one of the things that I had to do to make sure that, I kept tabs on them in terms of calling them. We had meetings every morning just to say, how's everyone doing? Do you have any questions? They could discuss with each other, any worries. But that was a regular thing, whether that is through video conferencing or phone call or messaging. Just a quick message goes a long way to say, how are you doing? Is there anything I can help with? And most of the time they were fine, but sometimes, giving them that reassurance really helped the team stay motivated. And actually, in a way, we managed to speak to each other more, because when you're in a work environment or in the office, you're so bogged down with work and you don't have time to speak to somebody else and say, how are things going? Do you need any help? How are you feeling? Whereas now, during this process, we've actually found we've got closer, and staff as a result have become even more efficient. And with the new lockdown measures, so we did start to transition back to the office a few months ago on a shift basis, so not everybody comes in at the same time. But we now, with the new changes, we're going to have to kind of work mostly from home again, because we're encouraged to work from home if we can. But this method will be great in terms of working and keeping the team motivated. So just a quick check-in goes a long way. We have a question from Derek from Instagram, who says, you mentioned job retention bonus. Will I as an employer have to pay tax on that? So as a bonus, it seems that It's a grant, to be honest. I don't have enough information on it at the moment because we don't know how that's going to work exactly, whether it's going to be only those that are coming out of furlough at the end of October, or whether it includes anybody else that, say, may have been brought back, say, a week or two before that, and whether it's going to be a grant, but either way, it goes to the employer. But if it's a grant or not, we'll see. If it's a grant, obviously, there will be corporation tax to pay on it. But I would say, I'm going to say yes for that, but we'll have more information as we get closer to it. As with a lot of these schemes, we get more of the information. We see what they're really about the closer we get to it. We have a question from Hashim from Facebook, who says, I'm a construction worker and have my own company. The Green Homes Grant sounds interesting. Do you know where to apply and what I need to provide? Yeah, so if you go on the Gov website, that will have a link to the website that you need to apply to. And it will also give you a list of the information that you need to provide, which will be namely, your company number and things like that. And you kind of have Okay, I believe I am back, hopefully now. Sorry about that, just cut out. So the Hashim, just going back to your question, so it will give you a list of what you can do, what services you can provide, but it's going to be quite a simple application process for you to get approved. So we have a question from Alex from Facebook Messenger, who says, hi Eriona, I'm running an organic fruit and veg shop and have a strong customer base, but since the pandemic, I've not had the same cash flow. And with the current situation, I predict it will go down even more. Do you have any advice on what I can do? I've created a digital store, but it hasn't generated as much business yet. So with this sector, actually, there have been quite a few businesses that have created that online store and put packages together of different fruit and veg, and delivered them door to door. One of the things you could do is maybe consult with. It may seem a bit weird, but consult with someone like a chef or someone like that that can advise you on the best fruit or veg to put together, so you can package it as a, if you take this package, you can make whatever meal out of it. So it's kind of like another service offering, but something that many now during lockdown, many have got more into kind of cooking and things like that. So if you give them that guidance, take this because you can make whatever it is. And I've seen that has been really great during this as a business. It's really taken off. And I would also suggest using things like Instagram, Facebook. I don't know if you do, but that would help also generate a lot of new business from what I've seen anyway. We have a question from Dania from Instagram, who says, hi, the new lockdown grant, can any business get that? So if you are in an area that has gone into local lockdown, then yes. Now there are conditions, obviously, depending on your rateable value of your premises. whether it's, if it's under 51,000, I believe that you get a 1,000 a week. If it's above that, it's 1,500. Sorry, not a week, every 3 weeks, correct myself there. But you should be able to just go on your local council's website and they will give you a breakdown of which one you can get, or if you can get it, depending on your business. Now, this has been put down to local authorities, so it will be at their discretion, and I have seen changes from council to council, so definitely go on their website to find out more about your particular area. We have a question from Darius from Facebook, who says, "Hi Eriona, I own a small restaurant and cash flow has not been great as I projected in the last couple of months. With the new restrictions, I'm afraid fewer people will do takeaways and dine at my restaurant. Do you have any advice on how I can project cash flow in these uncertain times?" So obviously, if you're able to, I think that there will be an increase in takeaways. That's just from what I've seen with my customers. We've got roughly 150 restaurants that we do accounts for, and the majority of those in this time have had an increase in takeaway. You just have to get your name out there to let your customer base know, or people in your area. With Instagram, you can use that as well, and get your name out there to say that we are doing takeaway, because many may not be aware. That's one. But in terms of cash flow, obviously, if you're able to let staff go earlier, you may have been open a lot longer before. Now you're going to save some money in those costs. In terms of what you're ordering as well, maybe see if you can get more just-in-time deliveries. Don't stock up as much, which will also help. And see whether, obviously during lockdown, if you're not in lockdown, you're not going to be able to get much out of local lockdown grants. But there are, the other grants like the Kickstart scheme and apprenticeship schemes and things like that, that you may be able to get some help from the government that way. But in terms of cash flows, I don't know whether you took advantage of the bounce back loan. That will help you out. Obviously, you don't have to spend it if you don't need it, but it's something there to give you peace of mind in case, whichever way we go, whether we go into further restrictions or whether there are easements. I hope that helped. We have one last question, unfortunately, today from Daniel from Facebook Messenger, who says, "Hello, I'm a freelancer and finding it hard to get clients at the moment. I set up my company in February and have had some clients lined up before COVID, so luckily been able to trade, but now it's slowing down as projects are over. Do you know if I'd get any support?" Unlucky that you started just before COVID, but I'm glad to hear that you had some clients already lined up. Unfortunately, there aren't that many grants available to you, but the only other support that I would suggest is the possible bounce back loan if you can. That will be a little bit difficult, just because the banks will be looking at past trading activity and what your turnover was previously. Other than that, to be honest, there isn't much support for brand new businesses out there at the moment. Maybe the next, depending on whether you said you're a freelancer, I don't know whether you're self-employed or a limited company, but there could be that grants available through either the furlough or whatever the new salary top-up scheme will be. Unfortunately, sorry to say, there aren't that many available. Okay, so unfortunately, I can't take any more questions today, but the poll results are in. We asked you, have you prepared your business for the next 6 months? 9% of you answered yes, and 91% have said no. That is a worrying figure. During lockdown, many people should have used that as a time to really work on their business and see changes that can be made. It's not too late. Now we do have kind of, it's not as strict a lockdown, so we have the opportunity to work both, best of both worlds, shall we say, although I'm not sure if they'd call them the best, but that's definitely something. Look at your business, see what you can do in terms of pivoting it. If you can go digital, please do try to, because this is not just for now, but this is going forward in the future. The world is changing, the way that we work is changing, so you need to make sure that you give your business the best chance of surviving long term, because there will be others that will come out of nowhere with these great new ways of working in a digital way. I mean, I see that with the accountancy sector, for example. Not many are working digitally, but now so many are seeing the benefits of it and everyone is doing it. So why not try and get there first and be an early adopter before everybody else? So when they do come, you know, you'll be used to working in that new way and you'll have a better chance. So a reminder, if you have any questions, then please do get in touch with QuickBooks support team or myself directly by email, eriona@majorsaccounts.com. You'll find us on all social media platforms, so on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, or Facebook. We've also got a contact form on our website that you can fill in and we'll get back to you. And we have a great app actually with a business hub section that will give you the latest information on all grants that are available with further information and where to apply. You can download that through our website under the services and majors app section. So please do go ahead and check that out. Now, coming up on Ask the Expert tomorrow is Sabrina Stocker, who has built several successful companies, mentored hundreds of entrepreneurs, and recognized Final 5 on the BBC One show, The Apprentice. She runs My Tennis Events, the largest tennis events company in the UK, and is the co-founder of Shopping Slot, reaching nearly 500,000 customers in the first 6 weeks of launching. And I believe this was during lockdown, so it's amazing. You know, these are stories of businesses that have really used lockdown to their advantage. A reminder that if you need any more advice, do join the official Intuit QuickBooks SMB community group on Facebook, where accountants and business experts are on hand 24/7. I hope you have an amazing day, and I've really enjoyed answering all your questions this morning, and keep an eye out for the announcement later today. Speak to you soon.